Hector.
Who flew that plane?
Where is your boss? The chief of police.
You passing through San Lucas? It can be quite dangerous. The cartels destroy everything.
There's another one of you hiding.
I have what you want.
You killed my brother-in-law, Hector. You make a deal, and I will spare you all.
And miss all the fun?
Okay, have it your way.
We need to secure the house.
Where are you from?
Ukraine. The man who raised me and taught me everything I know. A man you wouldn't want to cross.
There's nowhere to run.
You're a survivor.
You can't save this family. No matter how good you are, they will die sooner or later.
I don't even know your name.
Dominique.
Thank you very much.
John, I love your room.
Thank you. I get a lot of compliments. Thank you very much. Maurice, how you doing?
Good, brother. How are you, man?
I'm great. Hey, listen, you're the second guy from Narcos I've interviewed in the last couple of weeks. I did Juan Pablo Raba the other week for his Long Gone Hero. So you're number 2, man.
Oh, nice, dude. Oh, I love Juan. I just saw him a few weeks ago.
He was awesome.
He's a good dude.
Narcos, again, great show. End of Watch, you were like super nasty, but love that movie. David Ayer as well. So big fan of yours, man. Big fan.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, John. I appreciate that.
No problem. So Dominique, we're talking about Chief Santiago. You're a police chief, but you're anything but law enforcement in this movie. So let's talk about working with Michael S. Ojeda. I interviewed him last week too for the movie. So talk about what made you like take on this role. Like why did you want to play Mr. Santiago?
I really the main drive for this role was Mike's vision. Mike is just like a guy who's very like mathematical about his approach to things. He was really like, when I read the script, I enjoyed it. I said, wow, this is kind of a little bit of an ambitious project, for what he wanted to do. But when he started talking to me about how he was going to set up the shots, how he was cutting, in the evenings while he was working, like what his general process was. I've worked with people like that before, and look, I did a film with Quentin Tarantino, and I met him, and I don't want to be like, this is, but the vibe was very similar in terms of like the level of like just preparation and just energetically. Like if you said, oh, those two guys know each other, like I would believe it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a very loving, but also just absolutely serious about what he does. You know what I mean? And I'm not comparing one to the other. I'm just saying that there was a level of just passion for film that was evident with Mike, that I knew that he was going to do everything. And not just that he was going to do everything, but that he was capable of doing what he said he was going to do, because he laid it out for me. And I was like, this guy knows what he's doing. This is going to be fun. You're investing in these smaller films, and the magic of filmmaking really, I mean, when you do a big film, you already know that you already know what its future is going to be. But when you do a small film, there's something magical that happens when everything aligns and it comes together. And to be there for that experience while it's happening is really what makes independent film so just extraordinary, you know? And that was really the process of working with Mike. And that's what I hoped it was. And it turned out to be that. We had a great time shooting it.
So let's talk about your character. You know, obviously you're no spoilers. You're the bad guy. You're like the head. You're like the puppet master in this one in terms of like you're working with the cartels. Then you have Oksana come in. Dominique, she kind of throws a crip in your plans and everything. So let's talk about what did you take from life or other characters that you put into him as you were playing him.
I think every character is kind of unique. And I think that you really have to be able to kind of go back and think and kind of create a roadmap for, the genesis of each character and how it is that they find themselves in that particular crossroad. I mean, for me, like that's really the fun of filmmaking. If it was just about like getting somewhere and, doing like your little song and dance on film or, or TV, and then being done, then like I think it would feel empty. I think that when you really begin to immerse yourself in terms of different mediums that you can bring to actually create a character and color them differently than your last character, then you end up coming across as more than just one dimensional, So there's nothing that I drew from past anything other than the work that I've done in the past. And this is, work is the only thing that's the same, but the work itself is completely different because that's a very different character and very different set of circumstances.
So I liked how you played him because, like, again, you've seen this type of role in the past, but like there's been the the top, type performances from certain people playing this guy. I like how you were just like you knew who he was, you knew he meant business, and I like how you just kept him low key. Like even like when things were going bad, he was just kind of like and then eventually, but just talk about a little bit of keeping that low key like lion and weight feeling to it.
Well, I think that when you've worked in a certain business for a long time, the way that this particular character had, he's seen things kind of fall apart and come back together 1,000 times. And I think that the worst thing that you can do, or maybe he felt that the worst thing that you can do in a situation like that is panic, because that's when you start to kind of make mistakes. So I think keeping your cool is really what defines a commander from a regular infantryman.
Now let's talk about Oksana Orlan. Of course, she's Dominique. I spoke to her for the movie too. Wonderful spirit, such a great lady. I dubbed her the next action sensation. Like I got Linda Hamilton, Sigourney Weaver vibes off her. How was it working with her and playing off her in the role?
Yeah, it's funny that you say Sigourney Weaver because I hadn't thought of it, but I can totally like see that kind of vibe with her. Yeah, Oksana is a team player. She's just good. You can talk to her about anything, like if you're a moment, you need to make an adjustment and you're like, hey, can we adjust this or can we XYZ with that? Like, it's about keeping the project moving forward and about both of you guys staying in alignment. And I think that, when you're actually putting something together in, a specific amount of time, like we were a little bit pressed for time, which you really can't tell because we got everything done. And I think that's a testament to Mike's being able to manage, a set, and Alvaro, obviously, and Jason as well, but mainly Mike, who was kind of leading the charge. I think that these kind of things become important, like the ability that you guys can kind of come to a resolution of something or see eye to eye on something right away. It was very easy to do with Oksana and Mike.
Absolutely. So I only got you here for a couple more minutes. Again, thank you for your time. This has been great. I always love when I talk to actors or actresses like you that you've done big budget productions, you've done this smaller independent stuff. Do you tend to like one more than the other, or is it doesn't matter, you just love the art and you love doing what you're doing?
No, I love the art. It's like asking me whether it's like me being like I don't know, like a pianist, and you asking me whether I like jazz or I like classical better. It's like it's two very different tempos and two very different kind of outcomes and two very different audiences and two very different versions of yourself. You know what I mean? So you either enjoy all of the process or you're ultimately not going to enjoy any of it, because all there really is when you're doing film is process.
Right. So again, this is an independent, and I like my website. I do a lot with the independent action circuit, because Disney doesn't need my help promoting their movies. It's like I love to like do these type of movies, like get them out there and get them to the audience and everything. So as talking to the fans, like, in terms of, because the assassin tale, we have seen this type of movie before in terms of the jaded assassin, then he transitions, to helping a child or a family or something like that. What do you want the audience to like to watch this film? Because again, it's got the action, we know that it's got the violence and the action. I think, what do you want people to get out of it?
I just want them, especially women, I just want them to feel empowered. I want them to see a hero for themselves. I want to keep creating. I think there's enough male heroes and male anti-heroes. I think it's time to be able to kind of bring women more into that fold. I enjoy films that are collaborative like that have a female heavy or a female hero, or a major role, and isn't just supporting the man's vision, but literally comes in with an agenda of her own and is able to execute it.
Absolutely. I'm glad you said that, because again, I'm championing the female centric action films. I mean, because if you're that's the label they put on it, not really. I don't like labels and stuff like that, but I love like how now she's doing this, and then of course you got the bigger names and stuff like that. But it's like it's always, like you said, men have been considered, the ones like Stallone, Schwarzenegger, and stuff like that. But now it's like anybody can do it in terms of the situation, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think it's just important. We're definitely moving into a place where women are kind of empowering themselves more, and I think it's time that we begin to acknowledge that and begin to not begin, because begin kind of puts it in a very different context. I think that it's time to continue on with having that unfold.
Absolutely. All right, Maurice, I can't thank you enough for your time. Again, Dominique comes out this Friday. I can't wait for people to see it. You're great in it, or Oksana's great in it. It's a great action movie, but it's so much more of that. It's got deep layers, heavy drama, and everything. So I can't wait for everybody to see it. Thank you so much for your time, Maurice.
Thank you so much. All right, John. Thank you.
Have a good one.
Hector.
Who flew that plane?
Where is your boss? The chief of police.
You passing through San Lucas? It can be quite dangerous. The cartels destroy everything.
There's another one of you hiding.
I have what you want.
You killed my brother-in-law, Hector. You make a deal, and I will spare you all.
And miss all the fun?
Okay, have it your way.
We need to secure the house.
Where are you from?
Ukraine. The man who raised me and taught me everything I know. A man you wouldn't want to cross.
There's nowhere to run.
You're a survivor.
You can't save this family. No matter how good you are, they will die sooner or later.
I don't even know your name.
Dominique.